January 28, 1988, Henry Morgentaler, an illegal abortion doctor, fought against Section 251(4) of the constitutional law, claiming that it was infringing on Section 7 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms because it was violating women's rights. His case was heard by the Supreme Court of Canada soon following the abolishment of the abortion law. But how did it get to that point, though? Starting in 1892, the Parliament passes Canada's first criminal code. It prohibits the general consumption and advertisement of the contraceptives and abortion. Yet, women still went and sought illegal abortions. Continuing to 1969, where the Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau's government decriminalizes contraceptives and abortion is allowed only after a thorough examination of the participants by a committee of doctors who would decide if the pregnancy may endanger the life of the woman. If not, they would not allow an abortion. That's when Dr. Henry Morgentaler opened an abortion clinic, only to get raided a year after. After announcing that Dr. Morgentaler performed more than 5,000 successful abortions from 1969 to 1973, he goes to serve an 18-month jail sentence in 1975. He is then released from jail after 10 months instead, after the federal justice minister sets aside his original conviction, leading to January 28, 1988, where the Supreme Court of Canada strikes down the abortion law as it has been found to violate Section 7 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms because it infringes upon women's rights to, quote, life, liberty, and security of a person, end quote. Chief Justice Brian Dixon writes, quote, forcing a woman by threat of a criminal sanction to carry a fetus to term unless she meets a certain criteria unrelated to her own priorities and aspirations is a profound interference with a woman's body and thus a violation of her security of the person, end quote. A year later, the Supreme Court of Canada makes the decision that no man has any legal right to veto a woman's abortion decision. 80,000 illegal abortions, an approximate total, done by Dr. Morgentaler and Associates. Morgentaler risked his career to fight for abortions for women. He had been assaulted and threatened so women could control their own bodies. The Abortion Rights R versus Morgentaler was another step forward for women. The Supreme Court of Canada's decision ensures that the right of the woman is ensured by allowing them to have justice over their bodies and their choice, fully protected by Section 7 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, making others understand that women want to choose for themselves what would happen to their bodies, and that is a simple human right. A medical doctor can indicate if health-wise an abortion is necessary, though they cannot predict the psychological aspects, like mental health, or them being prepared enough within the rejected patient. Women deserve justice over their body, to have the freedom to choose whether or not they want to have an abortion. Section 7 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms state that, quote, everyone has the right to life, liberty, security of the person, and the right to not be deprived thereof except in accordance with the principle of fundamental judgment, end quote. Translating that into the situation of the case means that the woman should have the freedom to choose the consequence of the growing organism in her uterus, in the case of where it could affect her in any way she deems negative or unnecessary, whether it's her health, mental space, or ambitions. Taking away abortions doesn't necessarily stop abortions, but prevents safe ones. In the case where you have an illegal abortion clinic in that situation, you'd be lucky, because your only other option would be self-induced abortions, though many techniques can cause infections, physical pain, or psychological effects, like how forced pregnancy can cause psychological pain, so can self-induced abortions. Removing the right to choose for themselves whether or not they can abort could only result in negative choices for the party it's affecting. So the case R versus Morgentaler means that choice is important and that a woman's choice is not any less valuable. Dr. Morgentaler and many others activists agree that they should have access to simple health care that affects them, including abortions. It's a woman's right to control her own body. If she decides before 3 months' time whether she wants an abortion or not is entirely her choice. A woman has the right to her own body and what's going to happen with it. the right to remove any stressing factors from the equation that she thinks will affect her in a negative way. Section 7 of the Charter Rights and Freedoms state that she should feel safe and secure as a person. If she doesn't want to alter her life in any way, it is her right to be able to abort. Whether it be justice to women for their choice or to do what they deem necessary because it is their right, the case R versus Morgentaler was a revolutionary step for women, giving them their right to their bodies without the unnecessary opinion of others or getting blocked with a law. Thank you for listening.